Good afternoon. People need to know who God is. People need to come to a realization that their lives have more meaning than just getting by from day to day. When I say this, I know that for many of you, this isn't anything new. It's certainly not any great revelation. But it feels to me like it has to become for me personally anyway, a focus, especially when we are looking at issues of outreach in the church. People need to know that they are loved, that they are cared for, no matter what they've done or who they are. People need to know that there is a place for them in this world, a place that has something for them to rest into, as well as for for them to invest into. A place of comfort and a place of ministry. I believe in attending to social service type ministries. I'm part of them, have been, and will continue to be. I think they're needed within the community, and I think the church is a good spot from which some of them, these kind of outreaches to the impoverished needs present in a community, can be carried out. And I think it's a great expression of our love towards our neighbor. The question I need to ask, and I'm continually asking myself the older I get, how much of this is actually helping people come to understand that God is in their lives and wants to be buried deeply in their souls and bring them peace and warmth and peace and comfort. I think many people who participate in both in the giving and the receiving of some of these social service groups do come to appreciate the love that is around them, and some of them are able to connect that to God. The question I want to ask is, how are we assuring ourselves in our ministries as a church, which is a unique organization within a community? We are not a social service agency per se. We have an investment in the spiritual end of life. And I believe that it is our ministry, if not our greatest ministry, is to make sure that the community is aware, as best as we can make them aware, that they are spiritual beings in human bodies. There are many people within our community walking the streets, living locked in their homes, or living the life of Riley, partying all the time. Many people do not know who God is, and consequently suffer more than they need to be suffering. A sense that life is all that they can grab onto and hold. This is an unfortunate. Somehow, as the church, somehow as individuals in the church, we need to let people know what we know, so that their lives can move beyond the everyday, move beyond what they can grab hold of and hold on to tightly, move beyond perhaps the small world in which they find themselves living, to understand that they are part of something absolutely fantastic, absolutely glorious, will fill their hearts with a sense of belonging, giving them a wisdom to make decisions, giving them a sense of peace that they can take into every circumstance they go, and loading them down with a love and a forgiveness that will free their hearts and souls from anything that they have been caught up in. I believe that one of the issues that we have to manage somehow, that we have to wrestle with as we look to verbalize faith, is how do we do this? As Anglicans, I don't think it's too much a part of our tradition to be invoking that kind of a conversation at any time, really. We tend to be much more, I would say, introverted, but that's not really the right word. I would say much more proper. We do not want to get into people's faces. Now, the reason I didn't want to say introverted is because I am an introvert, and so that is indeed an issue. When I think of some of the great missions that some evangelists have gone on, they've stood on a soapbox in the middle of some place, say New York gangland, and they've just started talking about God. I couldn't see myself doing that. I don't think many of us can see ourselves doing that. So how do we move beyond what we know, what we're comfortable with, so that people can come to know what we know about God? Well, I leave that question with you. I'm certainly going to be challenging outreach committees in my parish with this question, using whatever means is available to us. Is there any way that we can ask people, do you know God? And if not, would you like to learn? Well, I ask for your prayers in my ministry and in the ministry of the parishes that I'm in, and I will pray for you and the ministries that you are a part of at this time. Thank you for joining me this afternoon.